If you have found your way to this specific frequency, if you are hearing these words right now, it is likely because you are unknowingly holding on to the single most restrictive illusion that consciousness can possibly entertain about its own existence. This is not about feeling unworthy or feeling like you are not enough or sensing that you are somehow broken. Those are merely the surface symptoms, the faint echoes of a much deeper misunderstanding. The fundamental error, the core distortion that keeps you locked in a small reality, is the absolute conviction that you are a solid object moving through linear time and space. You believe with every fiber of your being that you are a physical sculpture made of flesh, heavy bones, and coursing blood. You perceive yourself as a biological machine, a victim of gravity, a subject of entropy, vulnerable to disease, aging, and the eventual cessation of life. This belief, this unwavering certainty that you are matter rather than energy, is the precise mechanism that keeps your reality operating under ancient heavy rules. These rules limit you, they weigh you down, they age you, and they confine you to a script that was written for a character you are not. Eventually, this belief system dismantles the very form you identify with, but there is a threshold. There is a specific moment of recognition, validated by the cutting edge of quantum physics and proven by every major mystical tradition throughout human history. It is a moment verifiable only through your own direct, visceral experience. It is the instant where consciousness suddenly opens its eyes and sees clearly, not as an intellectual concept, but as a blinding truth. You realize that you are not matter. You have never been matter. You are energy, temporarily holding a geometric pattern that merely appears as matter. This is not a metaphor. This is not poetry. This is actual, physical, scientific fact. You are electromagnetic energy, organized into a sophisticated pattern by consciousness, vibrating at a specific frequency that makes that pattern appear solid to the senses while remaining fundamentally non-solid. The second that this recognition fully penetrates the deepest layers of your awareness, the moment you genuinely know yourself as energy rather than flesh, reality stops playing by the old rules. The old rules only apply to matter. Energy operates by a completely different set of principles. The tragedy is that most human beings never make this shift. They live their entire duration on this planet identified as a physical body, believing they are dense and solid, accepting the limitations that apply to solid objects, and experiencing deterioration as an inevitable fact, because that is what happens to rocks and stones. The identification is so absolute, so unquestioned, and so reinforced by the consensus of the world around you that recognizing you are not matter feels absurd. It feels impossible. It even feels dangerous to consider. You look in the mirror and you say, "I am this body." That is obvious. That is what my eyes see. That is what everyone agrees upon, except it is a lie, and modern quantum physics proves it is a lie. Can you feel the resistance rising within you as you consider this? The mind arguing, shouting that you are physical, that this is a fact, not a belief. That resistance is exactly what maintains the walls of your prison. As long as consciousness is convinced it is matter, reality reflects that conviction. It treats you like matter. It subjects you to the constraints of matter. But when consciousness wakes up to its energetic nature, reality responds to the nature of energy. Energy is capable of instant reorganization. Energy is responsive to shifts in frequency. Energy is unlimited by the restrictions of form. Quantum mechanics has demonstrated without a shadow of a doubt that matter is not solid. At the subatomic level, atoms are 99.999% empty space. They are vast fields of silence where energy patterns vibrate at frequencies that create the illusion of solidity. Your body is not a solid thing. Your body is a dynamic energy field, humming at a specific oscillation, creating a stable pattern that appears solid only to senses that are calibrated to perceive within a very narrow, limited range. You are not perceiving reality as it truly is. You are perceiving reality as your limited sensory instruments translate it, and that translation creates a mirage. It creates the persistent illusion that you are a dense object, rather than recognizing that you are fluid energy energy temporarily stabilized into a pattern. Reflect on the famous equation from Einstein: energy equals mass times the speed of light squared. This proves that matter and energy are equivalent. They are the same thing. Matter is simply energy slowing down. This means you are not a piece of matter that happens to have energy inside it. You are energy that sometimes slows down enough to form matter. Energy is the primary substance of the universe. Matter is secondary. Matter is just a manifestation, a temporary freezing of energy into a localized state. The consciousness that recognizes this, the awareness that knows itself as flow rather than form, begins to operate by the rules of the quantum field rather than the Newtonian laws of heavy objects. The ancient mystics understood this thousands of years before our microscopes confirmed it. They did not use the word energy. They called it prana. They called it chi. They called it life force, spirit, or consciousness itself. But they recognized the exact same truth that quantum laboratories now validate. You are not a solid physical form. You are an energetic being temporarily manifesting as a physical form. This recognition is what allowed yogis and masters to perform feats that violate the supposed laws of physics. Levitation, materialization, stopping the heart, living without food. These were not supernatural miracles. They were simply the result of understanding the actual nature of reality and self. They occurred through recognizing that energy is what you are, and energy operates by principles that matter cannot comprehend. Take a deep breath right now. A deep, conscious inhalation. Feel into the possibility. What if you are not the body? What if the body is just an energy pattern you are currently holding and identifying with? What if the limitations you struggle with, the pain, the fatigue, the gravity, are not inherent to your existence, but are merely consequences of believing you are matter when you are actually light? What becomes possible when consciousness shifts its declaration from "I am matter" to "I am energy" appearing as matter? That shift changes everything. That is the moment the game changes. That is when reality stops playing by the old, heavy script. Before you can truly inhabit your energetic nature, you must understand how consciousness became so convinced it was a physical body in the first place, and how that deep-seated conviction creates the limitations you experience as inevitable. This identification with matter is not a conscious choice you made one day. It is a conditioned belief reinforced through every single experience since the moment of your birth, creating an illusion so convincing that questioning it seems like insanity, even when the evidence suggests that the illusion is precisely what keeps you small. The identification begins early. Infant consciousness experiences sensations through the nerve endings. It learns that the body is the tool for navigating this physical realm. It develops a sense of "I am this." Because the body is the interface through which consciousness touches the world. Every touch, every movement, every hunger pang reinforces the message: you are this physical form. Parents, culture, education, media, they all confirm this belief. You are a body made of matter, subject to the rules of matter, limited by the constraints of biology. By the time you reach adulthood, the identification is so complete that consciousness cannot imagine being anything except a physical organism. But this identification creates a feedback loop of limitation. When consciousness believes it is matter, reality responds to that belief by enforcing matter's rules. Matter is subject to gravity, so you cannot fly. Matter is subject to entropy, so you age, deteriorate, and eventually die. Matter is subject to physical laws, so you cannot pass through walls, you cannot reorganize your molecular structure, and you cannot access energy directly without consuming material substances like food. All of these limitations feel absolutely real. They feel completely inevitable and impossible to transcend because consciousness believes it is matter, and matter operates by these rules. Yet, quantum physics demonstrates something profound. The observer affects the observed. At the quantum level, particles behave differently depending on whether or not they are being watched. The observer is not a neutral recorder of an independent reality. The observer is a participant. The observer participates in determining what manifests. Apply this to consciousness believing it is matter. That belief is an act of observation, and that observation affects what manifests in your body. You observe yourself as matter, so reality responds by manifesting according to matter's rules. Not because those rules are absolute, but because your observation of self as matter creates a quantum agreement that enforces those rules. This is why the placebo effect works. This is the mechanism behind it. Consciousness believes a substance will heal. The body heals, even when the substance is inert sugar. Consciousness believes a surgery occurred. Improvement happens, even when the surgery was fake. This is not positive thinking. This is not faith healing. This is consciousness's observation affecting physical manifestation at the quantum level. When consciousness genuinely, deeply believes healing is occurring, the body reorganizes its energy patterns to align with that belief. Not because belief creates a fantasy, but because consciousness is energy, and the body is an energy pattern formed by consciousness. Energy responds to the understanding of what is possible, but the placebo effect reveals only a tiny fraction of what becomes possible when consciousness fully recognizes its energy nature. Because the placebo still operates within the matter paradigm, consciousness believes matter, the pill, can heal under certain conditions, so matter heals. That is using belief to work within the rules of matter more effectively. The recognition that you are energy rather than matter transcends those rules entirely. You are not trying to heal matter through belief. You are recognizing that matter is simply a pattern of energy, and energy patterns can reorganize instantly through the direct influence of consciousness. The ancient traditions understood this through direct experience. The mystics who recognized their energy nature demonstrated capacities that shatter the materialist paradigm. Bodies remaining preserved long after death, living to extreme ages, manifesting objects from thin air, being in two locations simultaneously, transforming physical appearance at will. Modern science dismisses these accounts as legends, myths, or tricks, but quantum physics now explains the mechanism. If consciousness recognizes it is the energy organizing the matter rather than the matter itself, and if energy responds to frequency and focus, then reorganizing the energy pattern becomes possible in ways that seem impossible when you believe you are bound by the fixed laws of a solid universe. Understanding this framework intellectually is the first step, but it does not immediately shift the identification. Intellectual comprehension is not the same as visceral recognition. The mind can understand I am energy as a fascinating concept, while consciousness remains stubbornly identified as matter in its daily experience. The shift from understanding to recognition requires more than thinking about being energy. It requires the direct experience of energy. It requires that moment where the identification with the solid body dissolves and the recognition of your energetic nature becomes undeniable, felt in the gut, impossible to dismiss as a mere idea. There are specific experiences that reveal your energy nature, experiences that consciousness either dismisses as weird anomalies or recognizes as evidence of your actual nature. These are not rare, mystical events reserved for monks in caves. These are common experiences you have likely had repeatedly, but you interpreted them through the lens of the matter paradigm rather than recognizing them as glimpses of the truth. You dismissed the glitch in the matrix instead of staring through it. The first experience is feeling your body as energy rather than matter during illness, deep relaxation, or heightened emotional states. Suddenly, the body does not feel like a solid object. It feels like a vibrating hum, a frequency pattern, an electromagnetic field rather than flesh and bone. You might feel your boundaries dissolving, or sense yourself as larger than your skin, or perceive the body as luminous light. Most people dismiss this as altered perception, as a brain malfunction, as a meaningless sensation caused by fever or fatigue. But what if it is the accurate perception? What if consciousness is briefly perceiving the actual nature of the body as an energy pattern, rather than perceiving through the habitual filter that makes energy appear solid? The second experience is the body responding instantly to shifts in consciousness. You think about a lover, and the body immediately generates a physical sensation. You shift your emotional state, and the body instantly changes. Tension releases, energy surges, pain vanishes. You focus your intention on a specific body part, and sensation intensifies there immediately. These instant responses reveal that the body is not an independent solid machine, operating through slow, mechanical biological processes. The body is an energy field directly responsive to consciousness, reorganizing instantly based on focus and frequency. That instantaneous response is impossible if the body is just matter subject to physical causation, but it is perfectly natural if the body is an energy pattern formed by consciousness. The third experience is sensing energy before physical manifestation occurs. You feel someone approaching before you see them. You know the phone will ring before it vibrates. You know something is about to happen before the physical evidence appears. Consciousness is perceiving energy patterns that exist in the field before they manifest as physical events. This precognition is impossible in the materialist world where only the physical is real, but it is natural when consciousness recognizes it is energy, perceiving the energetic level of reality where events exist as probability waves before crystallizing into the physical moments that our senses detect. The fourth experience is affecting physical matter through focus without physical contact. You focus attention on a plant and it grows more vigorously. You hold an intention toward water and its molecular structure changes measurably. You direct awareness toward a random number generator and the output shifts away from randomness. Consciousness is affecting physical matter through non-physical means, not through some mysterious psychic power, but through the fundamental mechanics of energy. Consciousness is directly influencing the energy patterns that constitute matter, causing reorganization without requiring physical hands to move physical atoms. The fifth experience is perhaps the most challenging for the logical mind to accept, yet it is documented in medical journals and spiritual biographies across every century. It is the phenomenon of the body healing or mutating in ways that brazenly violate the supposed laws of biology. We are talking about the spontaneous remission of a terminal condition that doctors declared incurable. We are talking about the instant repair of an injury that should have taken months to knit together. We are seeing physical appearances shift and age reversing simply because the identity of the occupant shifted. In the old paradigm, we call these miracles. We label them as medical anomalies or statistical outliers to keep our worldview safe. But they are not miracles. They are mechanics. They are simply energy patterns reorganizing. When consciousness stops holding the rigid blueprint of sickness or injury and recognizes itself as fluid energy, the pattern can shift instantly. This reorganization is natural to energy. It is only impossible for matter. Matter is heavy. It requires time, friction, and chemical intervention to change. Energy requires only a shift in frequency and focus. When you witness or experience a healing that defies logic, you are seeing the mask of matter slip, revealing the energetic truth beneath. The sixth experience is the sensation of a current moving through you that anatomy books do not account for. You feel a surge rising up your spine that is definitely not a nerve signal. You feel a warmth circulating in loops and spirals that do not follow the path of your blood vessels. You feel a force animating your limbs that is not muscular contraction. You are perceiving the actual circulation of the life force that exists beneath the physical chassis. The Chinese map this as qi. The yogic traditions map this as prana. It is the electricity that runs the machine, but it is not contained by the machine. It is the subtle infrastructure of your existence. When you feel this, that tingling rush during breathwork, that magnetic push between your hands during qigong, that sudden heat in the center of your chest during prayer, you are feeling the truth. You are perceiving the energy grid that builds the body, proving that the physical form is just a projection of this underlying flow. The seventh experience is the most profound of all. It is the experience of existing as pure awareness without any body identification whatsoever. This often happens in deep states of meditation, during a near-death experience, or sometimes in a spontaneous moment of absolute stillness. Suddenly, consciousness recognizes that it is not inside the body. It realizes that the body is actually an appearance inside of it. You become a presence that has no edges, no weight, no location, and no physical attributes. You are everywhere and nowhere. In that terrified and beautiful moment of recognition, every single limitation that comes from being a person dissolves. You are not constrained by form, because you are not form. You are the energy that temporarily dreams the form. If you have ever felt this, even for a microsecond, you know it is more real than the chair you are sitting on. I want you to pause and engage with this reality right now. Go to the comment section below. Do not just think it, ground it by typing it. Which of these experiences have you felt? Have you felt the body dissolve into vibration? Have you sensed a phone call before it arrived? Have you felt the rush of prana up your spine? Simply list them. I felt the energy body. I knew who was calling. I felt the heat. By acknowledging these moments, you validate what your consciousness has experienced, but your intellect has dismissed. You are making the unconscious conscious. You are telling the universe that you have seen the glitch in the matrix. This simple act begins to shift your identification from I am matter toward the inevitable recognition I am energy. Now, we arrive at the singularity. We arrive at the moment of recognition itself. This is not a future achievement you must earn after years of ascetic discipline. This is a present possibility, hovering right here, available in this exact second as your eyes scan these words. Recognizing that you are energy is not a complicated, esoteric realization requiring special initiations. It is simply seeing what has always been true, but has been overlooked because of your hypnotic addiction to the physical form. Think of it like water. If ice could think, it might believe it is a solid, hard, cold block. It might identify completely with its hardness. But if it recognized it was H2O, it would realize that being solid is just a temporary state caused by temperature. Recognizing it as water does not destroy the ice, but it changes the ice's understanding of what it is. It knows it can melt. It knows it can flow. It knows it can become steam. The recognition of your nature begins with a simple, scientific inquiry. Ask yourself, what is this body actually made of? Do not stop at the level of organs and tissues. Go deeper. Go to the level of cells. What are cells made of? Molecules. What are molecules made of? Atoms. Now, look at the atom. What is it? We used to think atoms were tiny solar systems with solid balls of matter orbiting a solid nucleus, but that model is obsolete. Quantum physics has shown us that the atom is not solid. It is 99.9999% empty space. If the nucleus of an atom were the size of a basketball sitting in the center of a stadium, the electrons would be tiny specks of dust whirling around the highest seats of the bleachers. Everything in between is empty, void, nothingness. But it is not nothing. It is a field of potential. It is a quantum field of energy fluctuations popping in and out of existence, existing in superpositions, behaving more like probability waves than tiny rocks. This means that at the most fundamental level of your reality, your body is not matter. Your body is a cloud of organized energy patterns, creating a stable formation that looks solid, feels solid, but is fundamentally non-solid. This is not philosophy. This is physics. Matter is frozen light. Einstein proved it. Quantum mechanics demonstrates it every day in particle accelerators. Every single atom in your body, the atoms in your eyes reading this, the atoms in your brain processing this, is energy vibrating at a specific frequency. The appearance of solidity is just a frequency signature. It is a trick of the senses. Think of a ceiling fan. When it is stationary, you see individual solid blades with space between them. You can put your hand through the gaps, but turn that fan on to its highest speed. The blades vanish. They become a solid blur. If you try to touch it, it feels like a solid disc. It will strike you. It appears to be a solid object, but it is just movement. It is just frequency. Your body is exactly the same. You are energy vibrating at a frequency that makes the pattern appear solid. You are a standing wave of interference patterns. If you could slow down the vibration of your atoms, you would dissolve. If you could speed them up sufficiently, you would become pure light. You are not a different substance than the light of the sun. You are just vibrating at a different rate. So, if the body is energy and you experience yourself as the body, what does that make you? It does not make you a piece of meat that has a soul. It makes you energy experiencing itself. You are energy experiencing itself through a pattern that appears as matter. You are the ocean in a drop. You are the field in a point. Let this sink in. Not poetically, not metaphorically, actually. physically, quantum mechanically. You are electromagnetic energy organized into a temporary, stable pattern by consciousness. This consciousness identifies with the pattern and believes the pattern is a solid substance, completely forgetting that it is the energy sustaining the pattern. Can you feel that recognition touching the edges of your mind? It is a strange sensation. It is a vertigo of the soul. It is the feeling of the floor falling out from under your identity. I am not solid matter. I am energy vibrating at a frequency that creates the appearance of solidity. When that recognition lands, when it is genuine, when it moves from a cool idea you read about to a living truth in your gut, something fundamental shifts in the architecture of your life. Reality begins responding to you differently because the observer has fundamentally changed. You are no longer matter observing reality. You are energy recognizing itself as energy, interfacing with an energy field that only appears as physical reality. The mirror is no longer reflecting a stranger. It is reflecting your own nature. This shift becomes undeniable when you stop thinking about the body and start feeling the body directly. We are going to do this. We are going to bypass the intellectual gatekeepers. You need to feel this. Close your eyes for a moment if you can, or simply soften your gaze. Bring your attention fully into the internal space of your body. Do not visualize your body as a shape. Do not picture an anatomy chart. Feel the actual raw sensation of aliveness inside your hands, inside your chest, inside your legs. What do you actually feel? Do you feel liver and bone and muscle? No. Those are labels. Those are concepts the mind overlays onto the experience. What you actually feel is vibration. You feel tingling. You feel a hum. You feel pulsing. You feel movement. You feel a subtle current. You feel energy. You do not feel solid matter. You feel energetic activity. The solidity is a concept the mind projects onto the energy that consciousness is directly experiencing. The mind says, this tingling sensation is my solid hand. But if you remove the concept hand, what remains is just the tingling, just the energy vibrating, moving, pulsing, alive with activity that has no solidity when directly perceived. That direct perception is the crack in the cosmic egg. That is the beginning of recognition. It is consciousness touching its actual nature rather than believing the conceptual overlay. It is the moment you stop reading the menu and start tasting the food. No, this is not a solid object. This is energy. This is what I am. You are energy experiencing itself through a pattern that the mind calls body. But direct perception reveals it as energetic activity without inherent solidity. The recognition deepens when consciousness remains with this direct perception long enough that the identification with the solid form begins to melt. It dissolves into the recognition of your energetic nature. I want to share a personal transmission from the archive of this awakening. 8 years ago, I experienced a recognition that shattered the materialist paradigm I had unconsciously operated within my entire life. I was not special. I was simply practicing a form of energy work, trying to feel the chi moving through the body, following the instructions of a teacher. Suddenly, the switch flipped. Consciousness recognized this energy I am feeling is not flowing through a solid body. This energy is the body. The dichotomy collapsed. There was no container and content. There was just the content taking the shape of a container. The body was an organized energy pattern, not matter that contains energy. And in that flash of recognition, every limitation I had accepted as inevitable revealed itself as a consequence of a false belief. I had been believing I was the ice when I was actually the water. The immediate effect was that the body sensations intensified dramatically. The volume was turned up to 10. Suddenly, I could feel energy circulating through channels that Chinese medicine describes, but Western anatomy ignores. I could sense the electromagnetic field extending 2-3 feet beyond my physical skin. I could perceive the body as luminous energy rather than solid flesh. This was not visualization. I was not imagining white light. I was not trying to see anything. It was a direct perception that was always available, but consciousness had not been attending to it because it was so hypnotized by the idea of being matter. It was like finally hearing the hum of the refrigerator that has been running in the background for years. Once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. But a more profound shift occurred in the weeks that followed. The limitations that seemed absolute began dissolving. Chronic pain that had persisted for years disappeared. Why? Because consciousness recognized that pain was just a dense energy pattern, and energy patterns can be reorganized through consciousness's influence. As long as I viewed the pain as damaged tissue matter, I was stuck in the slow healing cycles of matter. But when I viewed it as blocked frequency energy, it became malleable. Physical endurance increased dramatically. The body began accessing energy directly from the field rather than being limited by the metabolic conversion of food. I realized that the exhaustion, the depletion, the low vitality that seemed normal for a human were just consequences of consciousness limiting itself. I had been throttling the flow. When consciousness is identified as a solid body, it unconsciously limits the energy flow to match what seems possible for matter. You tell yourself, I only have this much battery life. I need to rest. I am getting old. These beliefs act as valves, shutting down the infinite supply that is your birthright. You cannot have too much energy or the body would burn out. That is the fear. But when consciousness recognizes it is energy, those artificial limits dissolve. Infinite energy is available because you are not a battery. You are a conduit. You are not matter limited to stored fuel. You are energy that can access the source directly. Most significantly, reality started responding differently. Synchronicities increased. Coincidences became commonplace. Why? Because energy recognizes energy. Consciousness operating as energy perceives energetic patterns in the field before they manifest physically. It allows you to align with favorable patterns. You turn left instead of right, and you meet the person who changes your career. You delay your trip by 5 minutes and you miss the accident. This is not magic. It is alignment. Manifestations accelerated. Things that I intended began to show up with startling speed. Why? Because energy reorganizes instantly, while matter requires time. An intention held in consciousness as energy affects the energy field directly. It does not need to push heavy rocks uphill. It changes the magnetic charge of the destination, and the destination comes to you. Limitations dissolved because limitations are matter's rules. Consciousness established as energy is not bound by rules that apply only to solid substance. This is what I wish someone had explained to me decades earlier. You are not trying to generate more energy. You are not trying to get energy from the cosmos. You are not trying to become spiritual. You are energy. The vitality you are seeking is what you are. The power you want to develop is your fundamental nature. The limitations you are trying to overcome are just consequences of believing you are matter when you are actually light. Recognition alone shifts everything. You do not need a new technique. You need a new identity. Consciousness stops limiting itself through false identification and begins operating as what it actually is. Your recognition might come differently than mine did. It might be gentler. It might be a slow dawn rather than a lightning strike. It might happen during a yoga practice, or while watching a sunset, or during a moment of intense grief, or simply while washing the dishes. But the mechanics are always the same. The observer fundamentally shifts. Reality responds to energy rather than continuing to reflect matter identification back to a consciousness that is no longer playing that game. The shift is not that you become energy. You do not change into something else. The shift is recognizing you have always been energy, but were unconscious of your energetic nature through complete identification with physical form. You are simply waking up in the driver's seat after thinking you were the car. To stabilize this recognition, to keep it from fading like a dream, you need to develop specific capacities. You need to train your attention, because recognition can flash briefly, give you a moment of bliss, and then disappear back into the heavy gravity of matter identification. If consciousness does not consciously cultivate energy perception, these capacities are not psychic abilities for a chosen few. These are natural ways consciousness perceives the energetic level of reality. This level exists right here, right now, beneath the physical manifestation, but it goes unnoticed when consciousness is only attending to surface forms. The first capacity we must develop is the ability to feel energy in the body without labeling it. This sounds simple, but it is the key to the kingdom. Most people feel the body only as sensations that the mind immediately interprets and dismisses. That is muscle tension, that is digestion, that is tiredness, that is an itch. The mind instantly categorizes the sensation and puts it in a box, but beneath the interpretations, beneath the label pain or pleasure, The body is pure energetic sensation. It is vibrating, it is tingling, it is pulsing, it is flowing, it is concentrating, it is dispersing. The practice is to feel the body as pure energy without interpreting the sensations, just pure awareness of energetic activity happening continuously. Strip away the noun and feel the verb. Do not feel leg, feel humming. Do not feel chest, feel radiating. That simple practice trains consciousness to perceive its energetic nature rather than only perceiving through the filter of the matter paradigm. It rewires your interface with reality. The second capacity you must unlock is the ability to sense your energetic field extending beyond your physical perimeter. In the illusion of the material world, we are taught that we end at the skin. We believe that everything inside the skin is me and everything outside the skin is not me. But energetically, this is a falsehood. You do not end at your skin. You fade out. You extend. Practice sensing the presence that exists just an inch outside your body. Then a foot. Then 3 feet. It is an awareness that you are larger than your physical boundaries suggest. You are occupying space. You are a field of influence that radiates outward in all directions. This is not about visualizing a glowing aura or imagining a bubble of light. Imagination is a mental act. Sensing is a visceral act. It is actually feeling the pressure, the warmth, the density of your own presence that exists beyond where the physical form appears to stop. This sensing reveals a staggering truth. You are not contained within matter. You are the energy that forms the pattern appearing as a body, but you also exist as a field beyond that apparent boundary. You are a broadcast, not just a receiver. The third capacity is the natural evolution of this, perceiving energy in others and in your environment. Most humans walk through life visually. They see physical forms, a person, a building, a tree, and unconsciously assume that the physical shell is all there is. But everything physical has an energetic component that is loud and perceptible to an awakened consciousness. Start attending to the energy level of your interactions. When you meet someone, do not just look at their face or listen to their words. Feel their frequency. Sense their energetic pressure. Is it jagged? Is it smooth? Is it contracting? Is it expansive? Walk into a room and before you look at the furniture, feel the space. Does it hum with life or is it stagnant? This practice develops your perception of the energetic reality that exists beneath the physical appearance. You begin to read the code of the matrix rather than just staring at the screen. The fourth capacity is the ability to direct energy through intention. This is where you move from observer to operator. Energy is not static, it is responsive. It obeys consciousness. It follows focus. Practice moving energy through your body using only your attention. Focus on your right hand until you feel the heat and tingling concentrate there. Then, slowly move your attention up your arm, across your chest, and down to your left hand. Feel the sensation physically travel along the path of your focus. This is not visualization. You are not thinking about energy moving. You are discovering that the energy actually responds to your command. This proves undeniably that you are not separate from the energy. You are energy conscious of itself, capable of reorganizing itself through intention. The fifth capacity is regulating your energy frequency. Everything in this universe is vibrating at a specific rate. You are a radio tuner, but you have forgotten you have a dial. Practice sensing your current frequency right now, not as a concept, I am happy or I am sad, but as an actual felt sense of vibration level. Is the hum fast or slow, high or low? Then practice shifting it. Use your breath, use your intention, use your emotional state. Elevate the frequency and notice how the energy becomes lighter, more expansive, more refined, like steam rising. Lower the frequency and notice how it becomes denser, heavier, more contracted, like ice freezing. This practice reveals that frequency is the master key. It determines whether your energy appears as subtle and spiritual or gross and physical, and you are the one with the hand on the dial. The sixth capacity is the ultimate freedom, accessing source energy directly. The materialist paradigm insists that you are a biological machine that relies entirely on food, sleep, and external chemical reactions for fuel. But when consciousness recognizes its energy nature, a secondary power source comes online. Practice sensing the presence of energy everywhere, in the air, in the empty space between objects, in the field itself. It is not empty, it is full. It is the 0-point field. Practice opening your system to that ambient energy and allowing it to flow into your awareness without needing a material medium like food. This is not about starving yourself. It is about discovering that you are not limited to material fuel because you are fundamentally energy, and energy can access the source directly when consciousness knows how to plug in. I want you to try this right now. Practice feeling your body as pure energy. Close your eyes. Drop the mental image of your body. Feel the actual energetic sensation, the vibrating, the tingling, the pulsing. Hold that awareness for just 30 seconds. That simple practice is the drill that breaks the concrete. It shifts the identification from I am matter to I am energy having a material appearance. The more you do this, the more natural energetic awareness becomes, until it is your baseline reality rather than a special state you visit on weekends. But I must warn you, there is a phase that comes after the initial recognition, a phase that very few teachers talk about. Something crucial happens after consciousness begins to stabilize in this new understanding. The old rules of matter stop applying, but the new way of operating is not immediately obvious. You enter the void. You enter a transition period where the limitations of the matter paradigm dissolve, but the capacities of the energy paradigm have not fully developed. You are between worlds. This creates disorientation. It creates confusion. It can even create deep fear. Consciousness realizes that the safety rails of the old reality are gone, but it does not yet know how to fly. It knows the cage is open, but it has forgotten its wings. Many people retreat at this stage. They run back to matter identification because the uncertainty feels dangerous. The familiarity of limitation feels safer than the vertigo of infinite possibility. The disorientation manifests as unpredictability. The body, which used to operate according to reliable mechanical patterns, suddenly behaves unexpectedly. You might experience energy surging through you like a high-voltage wire one day, and then feel utterly depleted the next without any apparent cause. Physical sensations appear that do not match any medical diagnosis. Your stamina varies wildly. This is not pathology. This is not sickness. This is the upgrade. This is energy operating by energy's principles. Dynamic, fluid, tidal. Rather than being constrained to matter's consistent linear patterns. Energy responds to the environment. It responds to solar flares. It responds to the emotional state of the collective. Variables that the matter paradigm ignores become significant when you are an open system. This unpredictability bleeds into your life. Manifestations occur, but not how your ego expected them to. You recognize your energy. You hold an intention for something to manifest, and something does manifest. But it is different from what your mind specified. This happens because energy responds to your actual frequency and your authentic need, rather than your ego's mental preferences or vanity. When you were identified as matter, you accessed reality through force and causation. You wanted something, so you moved your physical body to get it. You used effort. But as energy, consciousness affects reality directly through frequency alignment. What manifests matches your broadcast. Sometimes this means the shiny object the ego wanted does not arrive, but the experience the consciousness actually needed to expand appears instantly, or physical limitations dissolve, but psychological patterns remain to be cleared. This creates a fierce internal conflict. The body knows it is energy and is capable of more, but the mind still believes you are matter and is addicted to limitation. The conflict manifests as self-sabotage. Just as you approach a breakthrough, symptoms return. Just as expansion gets too far beyond the familiar comfort zone, fear spikes. The recognition must penetrate the psychological level, not just the physical perception, or the mind will recreate the cage. Consciousness has transcended physically, but the mental guard dog is still barking. The practice during this transition is the hardest practice of all: surrender. You must surrender the need to control outcomes while maintaining a clear intention. Energy operates through resonance, attraction, and alignment. It does not operate through forcing, controlling, or manipulating. Those are tools of the material world. But the ego loves control. The ego wants to know exactly how things will manifest. It wants a guarantee. It wants a contract stating that if you recognize your energy, you will get $10 million and perfect health by Tuesday. That need for control is matter paradigm thinking. It is trying to make the fluid quantum reality conform to rigid mental boxes through mechanical causation. The energy paradigm operates differently. It requires holding a clear frequency and allowing what matches that frequency to manifest naturally. It requires trusting that energy aligns with energy without needing the ego to micromanage the process. This transition also requires you to completely redefine success and failure. In the matter paradigm, success means getting what the ego wanted through physical effort. I worked hard, and I got the prize. In the energy paradigm, success means consciousness maintaining a high frequency and allowing that frequency to attract matching experiences. What appears as failure to the ego, I didn't get the specific job I applied for, might be a massive success to consciousness because you maintained your frequency alignment and avoided a situation that would have lowered your vibration. The evaluation criteria shift from did I get what I wanted to did I remain established as energy, or did I collapse back into the fear of matter identification? I experienced this transition for 2 years after my initial recognition. It was a baptism by fire. My body was capable of things that seemed impossible while identified as matter. I could feel the potential, but my mind kept trying to control how the energy would manifest. It kept expecting specific outcomes. It kept judging experiences as bad or good based on whether they matched my ego's preferences. Eventually, I learned the lesson. Let go of controlling how energy manifests. Your job is to hold the frequency. Your job is to allow the alignment. You must trust that energy, operating as energy, creates more favorable outcomes than a matter-identified consciousness trying to force specific results with a crowbar. The surrender was not giving up. It was not passivity. The surrender was stopping the interference. It was getting out of the way so the intelligence of the energy could operate according to its own principles rather than trying to make energy follow the slow, clumsy rules of matter. But realize this, you are not doing this alone. What is happening individually as you recognize your energy is happening collectively to thousands, perhaps millions, globally. This is not an isolated realization affecting random individuals in dark rooms. This is a species-wide shift. We are moving from matter-based consciousness to energy-based awareness. We are witnessing the transformation of the collective field itself. It is shifting from being dominated by the materialist paradigm to being informed by the energetic understanding of reality's actual nature. Rupert Sheldrake's concept of morphic resonance explains why this recognition is popping up everywhere simultaneously. As more consciousnesses recognize their energy, the morphic field strengthens. It carves a groove in the collective psyche, making the recognition easier for others approaching the same realization. Think of the first person who clearly recognized I am energy, not matter. They had to hack through a dense jungle of complete cultural conditioning that screamed, matter is real. The second person found a faint trail. The third found a path. And now, after accumulating recognition across thousands of consciousnesses, the field contains a clear highway. The pattern supports the shift from matter identification to energy recognition for anyone whose development reaches the appropriate threshold. You are standing on the shoulders of giants. You are benefiting from everyone who recognized this before you. You are benefiting from the mystics who maintained energetic awareness in secrecy, from the quantum physicists who risked their careers to prove matter is energy, from the healers who demonstrated that the field affects the form. They created the morphic field. They proved the recognition is real. They demonstrated that consciousness can operate as energy rather than remaining trapped in the prison of matter. Their achievement makes your recognition easier. It is more supported. It is more likely to stabilize rather than flash briefly and disappear into the night. And here is your responsibility. When your recognition stabilizes, when you establish yourself as energy rather than matter, when you allow reality to respond to your energetic nature, you strengthen that morphic perfect field for everyone else coming behind you. Your shift serves the collective. You make it easier for the next consciousness to wake up. You contribute to the evolution of the species from a fear-based, resource-hoarding, materialist ape to an energy-based, unlimited creator. There is something else occurring at the collective level that makes this specific moment in history unique. Technology is finally catching up. Technology is revealing the energetic level of reality that was invisible to previous generations. Our devices can now measure electromagnetic fields around the body. We can detect subtle frequencies. We can image energy patterns. What the mystics could only perceive subjectively, science can now measure objectively. This objective validation is a game changer. It makes recognition easier for the rational mind. You are not just trusting a subjective experience that your culture dismisses as imagination or madness. You are recognizing what science confirms as measurable reality. Matter is energy. Physics proves it. Technology measures it. Your experience confirms it. Your recognition aligns with validated truth rather than contradicting consensus reality. This convergence of spiritual recognition and scientific validation is creating the perfect storm for a massive collective shift. When mystics alone recognized energy, culture could dismiss them as deluded saints. They were special. But when quantum physics proves matter is energy, and when technology measures energetic phenomena, and when a growing number of ordinary people recognize their energetic nature through direct experience, the collective paradigm must shift. It has no choice but to accommodate the truth that can no longer be dismissed. The shift from the matter paradigm to the energy paradigm is not just an individual awakening. It is the collective evolution of the species, understanding what it actually is at the fundamental level. We have reached a critical juncture in the evolution of your consciousness. What we are discussing here is not merely a philosophical curiosity or a dinner party conversation about the mysteries of the universe. This is an ultimatum. There is a choice approaching, a choice that is rushing toward you with the inevitability of a tidal wave. This choice determines whether this recognition stabilizes into a permanent state of being, or whether it remains a fleeting, interesting idea that you eventually forget as the gravity of daily life pulls you back down. The choice is stark. You can choose to continue identifying as matter because it is familiar, comfortable, and validated by the billions of people around you, even while a secret part of you knows you are energy. Or you can choose to fully release the identification with matter and live as energy, even though that means every single limit your ego has built its identity upon must dissolve. This is the choice between holding a spiritual concept in your mind and embodying a living reality in your cells. And here is the catch. This choice cannot be made by the ego. The ego wants to remain identified as matter because the ego's entire structure is engineered around the concept of being a separate, solid self with a name, a history, and a death date. The ego can understand "I am energy" as a slogan. It can print it on a t-shirt. It can write books about it. But the ego cannot be energy because the ego is the crystallization of the belief in separation. Asking the ego to release its identification with matter is like asking a shadow to stand in the sun. It is asking it to dissolve itself. So the ego will fight. It will resist the dissolution by creating doubt, by generating fear, by manufacturing rationalizations, and by throwing endless distractions in your path. It will whisper, "This is crazy," or "You have bills to pay," or "Focus on the real world." The choice must come from consciousness itself. It must come from that silent observer that has already seen the truth. It must come from the awareness that has already recognized, "I am not this dense object. I am the light animating it." That recognition either solidifies into a stable realization, consciousness remaining established as energy regardless of the ego's tantrums, or it fades back into the unconscious sleep of matter identification. The ancient mystery schools whispered about this transition. They called it the death before death. It is the dissolution of the false self that believes it is matter before physical death forces that dissolution. It is not a literal physical death. It is the death of an identification. It is the funeral of the belief that you are a solid, separate form. It is the end of the limitations that come from the materialist paradigm. To the ego, this feels like an annihilation threat. It feels like dying because for the ego, it is dying. But consciousness, the real you, recognizes that what is dying is a costume, what is dying is a prison cell, what is being born is the recognition of what was always true. You are energy temporarily dreaming a pattern that appears as matter, while never actually being matter. This choice becomes easier when you confront the brutal cost of remaining identified as matter after you have seen the truth. There is a specific, agonizing type of suffering that comes from that divided state. It is not the ordinary suffering of being a limited human. It is the suffering of knowing you are unlimited energy while continuing to live, speak, and act as if you are a small, fragile fragment of dust. It is the pain of spiritual cognitive dissonance. It is knowing the truth while betraying the truth in every moment. You see the energetic nature clearly in your moments of silence, but you return to the matter identification because it is comfortable. It is the devil you know. It is accepted by consensus reality. I faced this razor's edge 10 years ago after the recognition first shattered my worldview. My ego wanted to keep the realization as a shiny spiritual trophy, an insight I could talk about while maintaining my matter identification for all practical purposes. Why? Because all the structures of my life were built on the foundation of being a solid, separate individual. My relationships, my career, my social roles, my self-image, they were all architectural constructs requiring a person to inhabit them. Releasing the belief in the person meant those structures would have to endure a massive earthquake. They would need to reorganize around the truth or collapse entirely. It was easier to hold the recognition as a concept while living from matter identification. But consciousness is a relentless master. It knew that you cannot half recognize. You cannot be half pregnant with the truth. Either you know you are energy and you live as energy, or you forget you are energy and you live as matter. The middle state, knowing but not living, creates a friction that burns the soul. It is the friction of consciously betraying what you have seen. So the choice became clear, even though it was terrifying. I had to let the recognition reorganize everything. I had to surrender. No compromise. No keeping the energy self for meditation and the matter self for the office. I chose energy over comfort. I chose the unknown truth over the familiar lie. And that choice meant allowing every structure built on the false self to face the fire. Some relationships could not meet me in this new frequency. They needed me to remain identified as a separate, needy, solid object to fit into their script. When I stopped playing that role, the connection dissolved. Not out of malice, but out of energetic physics. Some roles I played in society had to end because they required limitations I had transcended. Some identities my ego cherished, the achiever, the victim, the helper, had to be thrown into the furnace. But what emerged from the ashes was authentic living. It was life emerging from the energetic nature rather than a performance by a material puppet. Once consciousness is established as energy rather than identified as matter, life looks radically different. It is not necessarily easier in the way the ego wants comfort. In fact, it is often more intense because energy does not have matter's dampening effect, but it is more real. It is more alive. It is aligned with the actual mechanics of the universe. Reality responds to energy in ways that a matter-identified consciousness could never even dream of experiencing. Let us look at the specific upgrades that come online when you make this shift. First, your vitality is no longer held hostage by external circumstances. When you are identified as matter, you believe energy comes exclusively from food, sleep, and rest. You believe you are a closed system that must constantly consume external resources to stay operational. If you miss a meal or lose an hour of sleep, you collapse. But as energy recognizing itself, you access the source directly. Yes, the physical chassis still requires biological fuel, proteins, carbohydrates, water, but consciousness is not limited to material fuel. Energy itself is what you are, and energy can access the infinite zero-point field directly when consciousness knows it is not a closed battery, but an open conduit. The exhaustion that seemed inevitable, the afternoon slump, the chronic fatigue, reveals itself as a consequence of false identification. You are cutting yourself off from the mains and trying to run on a tiny backup generator. When you plug back in, the flow is limitless. Second, physical limitations dissolve or dramatically reduce. This is not because the body becomes superhuman in a comic book sense. It is because the limitations were simply the rules of matter. And consciousness established as energy is not bound by rules that apply only to solid rocks. Range of motion increases as the body recognizes it is a fluid energy pattern capable of reorganizing rather than a fixed mechanical hinge with rust in the joints. Healing accelerates because consciousness recognizes the body as a formation of light that can shift instantly rather than waiting for the slow chemical processes of biological repair. Stamina expands because you are not burning stored glycogen alone. You are running on the current of the field. Third, and perhaps most magically, reality responds with increased synchronicity. This is where the quantum reflection truly begins. Energy recognizes energy. Consciousness operating as energy perceives energetic patterns in the field before they manifest physically. This allows for effortless alignment. You sense an opportunity before it appears on LinkedIn. You feel the timing of a decision without a logical reason. You know who to call, where to go, and what to do. This guidance comes through energetic perception, a subtle pull, a resonance, a knowing. The matter-identified consciousness cannot access this because it is only staring at physical surfaces. It is blind to the energetic currents that dictate where reality is going flow next. Manifestations accelerate dramatically. In the old world, you used mental techniques, vision boards, and hours of positive thinking. You tried to push reality, but as energy, you affect the field directly through resonance. When you hold a clear frequency, reality must organize to match that frequency. It is not a request, it is a law of physics. What took months to manifest when you were identified as matter, pushing, striving, struggling, manifests in weeks or days when you are established as energy. Why? Because energy responds instantly to frequency. Matter requires time and friction to reorganize. You are bypassing the delay. Fourth, your relationships reorganize around energy alignment rather than material circumstance. In the matter paradigm, we relate based on utility. What can this solid person provide for me? Security, validation, status, money. It is a transactional exchange between two separate objects. But when you wake up, you relate through energetic resonance. Consciousness recognizes a compatible frequency in another form. Energy attracts matching energy. Some relationships in your life will intensify beautifully as this energetic alignment becomes conscious. You will stop talking about the weather and start communicating soul to soul. Others will naturally dissolve, and this is the part you must be ready for. As your frequency shifts, those who were attached to your old density will simply fall away. There is no drama needed. There is no blame. It is just physics. If you vibrate at a rate that no longer matches their reality tunnel, you become invisible to them, or they become repelled by you. It is a natural reorganization as consciousness operates from energetic truth rather than material dependency. Fifth, your purpose emerges as an energetic expression rather than a material achievement. You stop trying to become somebody. You stop trying to accumulate accolades to prove your worth to a society of sleepers. Instead, you allow the energy to express through your particular formation in ways that serve the evolution of the whole. What wants to create through you, it reveals itself through an energetic impulse. It feels like a surge. It feels like excitement. It feels like flow. It moves through energetic timing and alignment rather than through mental planning based on what the ego thinks it should achieve. The expression is more authentic. It is more powerful. It is more dangerous to the status quo. It is aligned with your actual purpose because it is emerging from the core energy rather than from the conditioned mind. I live from this reality now, not perfectly. I am not a floating guru. There are moments when the gravity of the collective unconscious pulls me down and consciousness gets re-identified with being matter. I stub my toe and I curse. I get a tax bill and I contract. I experience the limitations, the separateness, and the anxiety that come from matter identification. But here is the difference. Those moments are brief. They are glitches, not the operating system. They are recognized immediately. I have collapsed into matter. The baseline has shifted. I used to be identified as matter with occasional moments of spiritual energy awareness. Now I am established as energy with occasional moments of matter identification. And from that new baseline, reality responds completely differently. The feedback loop has changed. Everything shifts when the observer shifts from matter to energy. There comes a point, and I believe you are approaching it, where the recognition that you are energy becomes irreversible. This is the event horizon. It is not because matter identification cannot temporarily happen. It can. But it becomes irreversible because once consciousness has clearly, distinctly, and viscously recognized, I am energy, not matter, that recognition cannot be completely deleted. You cannot unsee the truth. Even when you are temporarily lost in a moment of stress, a part of consciousness is watching from the back of the theater, whispering, "This is a temporary illusion. I am not actually this solid body. I am the energy temporarily playing this role." That knowing remains like a pilot light that never goes out. It makes the return to energy awareness natural, automatic, and swift. You bounce back. You do not stay stuck in the heavy mud of suffering for months. This irreversible shift happens through accumulated direct experience. One moment of recognizing your energy is profound, but it might not be stable. It might feel like a drug trip, but after dozens, then hundreds of instances of feeling the body as pure, vibrating energy, after sensing the field, after seeing your intentions manifest instantly, the evidence becomes overwhelming. You reach a tipping point where you no longer believe you are energy. You know you are energy. You know it the same way you know your hand is your hand. It is verified through repeated direct experience that cannot reasonably be dismissed as imagination or wishful thinking. The shift confirms itself through what no longer limits you. The physical constraints that seemed absolute when you were identified as matter reveal themselves as flexible. The laws turn out to be guidelines. Vitality becomes accessible directly. Manifestations occur through simple frequency alignment. You also notice what no longer disturbs you. This is a massive indicator of your shift. Physical changes that would have created panic when you were identified as matter, an unusual pain, a strange sensation, a sudden fatigue, are now recognized as energy updates. Oh, the energy is moving. The system is recalibrating. You do not run to the doctor for every twitch. You listen. You allow. You understand that energy is fluid, dynamic, and sometimes chaotic. The disturbance came from expecting the body to follow matter's consistent, machine-like patterns. When consciousness recognizes the body as energy, the unpredictability becomes an adventure rather than a threat. The ancient teachings call this the realization of the immortal body, or the diamond body. This does not mean the physical flesh will never rot. It means you recognize you are not the flesh that rots. You are the energy that transforms but never ends. Physical form will dissolve eventually. Entropy will claim the carbon suit. But the consciousness that recognizes its energy nature knows that the form is a temporary rental. The energy itself is permanent. It is ancient. It is unborn and undying. Death loses its absolute power over you when consciousness knows it is not the matter that dies, but the energy that simply reorganizes from one pattern to another. It is not that physical death does not occur. It is that death is not the ending of you. It is just the ending of a particular broadcast. It is the ending of the song, not the singer. 12 years after consciousness clearly recognized, I am energy, not matter, I cannot return to complete unconscious matter identification. It is impossible, not because I am disciplined, not because I am holy, but because consciousness has seen the truth too clearly, too many times. The optical illusion has been spoiled. I can see the vase, and I can see the two faces, but I can no longer only see the vase. Matter identification still happens when consciousness contracts in fear, but consciousness catches it quickly. It recognizes the contraction. Oh, that is matter identification occurring, and just by seeing it, it naturally returns to being established as energy without effort. The return is automatic because consciousness knows what it is. It cannot unknow its energetic nature. If you are sensing this irreversible recognition stabilizing in your system right now, if you feel the pilot light flickering into a flame, I want you to ground this. I want you to declare it to the field. Go to the comments and write, "I am energy." Do not write this as a hopeful affirmation to try and convince yourself. Write it as a recognition of what is directly, obviously, and undeniably true. Write it as a statement of fact. I am energy. When consciousness perceives the actual nature beneath the material appearance, the game is over. You are not matter. You are energy forming a material appearance. That recognition is irreversible once consciousness has sufficient direct experience. Every video on this channel, every word in this transmission points toward this single singularity, recognizing the energetic nature consciousness actually has beneath the mask. Every single transmission that has ever been broadcast on this frequency, every video that has been uploaded to this channel, and every word that has been spoken here serves one singular, devastatingly simple purpose. They are all pointing toward this exact moment of recognition. They are all designed to corner your consciousness, to strip away the exits, and to force you to look at the energetic nature that exists beneath the heavy mask of your material identification. Each teaching is a chisel chipping away at the marble of the false self. Each concept is a solvent designed to dissolve the glue of your conditioning. Every sentence is constructed to help consciousness see, once and for all, that it is not matter subject to matter's suffocating limitations. It is energy. It is capable of transcending every apparent constraint that the physical world imposes. This is not about learning new information. You do not need more data. You are drowning in data. This is about activation. This transmission is a trigger. It is a resonant frequency designed to activate a recognition that is already sleeping in your DNA, waiting for the right sound to wake it up. You are not solid substance. I will say it until the words lose their meaning and become pure vibration. You are vibrating energy. You are an electromagnetic field organized into a temporary, magnificent pattern. You are consciousness forming a material appearance while remaining fundamentally and eternally non-material. Everything we have shared until now has been a map pointing toward this territory, but a map is not the territory. You cannot live on the map. You have to walk the land. This is not about a moment in the distant future when you will finally be enlightened enough to recognize your energy. That is a trap of the linear mind. The mind loves the future because the future never arrives. This is about this moment, right now. The only moment that actually exists. This is the moment where recognition either occurs or consciousness continues to hit the snooze button and believes it is matter. This is the split in the road. This is where awareness either sees its energetic nature with blinding clarity or remains identified with the dense material form. This is where the truth either reveals itself in a flash of lightning or stays hidden behind an identification that seems too solid to see through. I want you to take a breath, not a casual automatic breath. I want you to take a conscious, commanding breath, a deep one. Pull the air into the bottom of your lungs, and as you breathe, I want you to feel into your body one last time with me. Do not think about your body. The mind thinks about the body as a noun, an object, a thing, a shape in the mirror. I want you to feel the body as a verb. Feel the actual sensation of existing. What do you feel? If you are honest, if you drop the labels, you do not feel skin or bone. You feel vibration. You feel a subtle tingling. You feel pulsing. You feel heat. You feel energy moving, flowing, circulating. You do not feel solid matter. You feel energetic activity. That sensation, that hum of aliveness is what you are. That is not your body's energy. That is you. You are not matter containing energy. You are energy appearing as matter. You are the electricity, not the wire. In the coming days, I want you to make this your radical practice throughout your day, while you are driving, while you are washing dishes, while you are sitting in a meeting. Bring your attention back to the body. Feel the pure, energetic sensation. Feel the vibration. Feel the tingling. Feel the pulse. Feel your energetic field extending beyond your physical boundaries. Sense the energy in others. Sense the energy in the environment. Sense the energy in the empty space of the room. Direct energy through your intention and notice that it responds to you like a loyal animal. Access the source energy directly and feel it flowing into your awareness, bypassing the need for physical fuel. Each time you do this, you are casting a vote for reality. Each practice reinforces the recognition. Each moment of sensing weakens the matter identification. Each shift stabilizes consciousness as energy rather than leaving it trapped in the hallucination of being matter. The moment you realize you are energy, truly realize it, not just think it, reality stops playing by the old rules. This is not because reality changes objectively. The furniture does not start floating, usually. Reality changes because the observer has changed. Consciousness established as energy interfaces with reality as an energy field rather than as a collection of solid objects. And the energy field responds to an energy observer completely differently than it responds to a matter-identified observer. The rules shift because the rules that applied to matter do not apply to energy. Gravity affects rocks. It does not affect light in the same way. Entropy destroys bodies. It does not destroy energy. Energy can transform, but it cannot be created or destroyed. You have graduated from the laws of Newton to the laws of quantum mechanics. You are energy. You always have been. You never were actually matter, except through a persistent, convincing, collective false identification. Consciousness is now seeing through the veil. The mask is cracking. If this transmission has triggered a recognition in you, if you have felt, even for a microsecond, that your body is vibrating energy rather than solid substance, then you have a responsibility. You have a duty to the collective field. Share this transmission. Do not hoard the frequency. There are others out there, people you know, people you love, who are trapped in matter identification without knowing that the identification is false. They are suffering. They are struggling with limitations that are just consequences of believing they are matter. They are trying to solve energy problems with material solutions, and it is killing them. Others need to know that quantum physics proves they are energy. They need to know that direct experience confirms they are energy. They need to know that recognition is possible and that recognition changes everything. We are going to anchor this recognition right now. We are going to drive a stake into the ground of the new reality. I want you to write a final comment below. This is your declaration of independence from the materialist paradigm. Just write, "I am energy forming matter." That statement is a spell. It is a code. It acknowledges the recognition. It tells the universe that consciousness has seen through the matter identification, at least briefly. It signals that awareness has glimpsed the energetic nature beneath the material appearance. It signifies that the recognition is beginning to stabilize. You are not matter. You are energy, temporarily forming a pattern that appears as matter, while being fundamentally energy at the quantum level. This is what I call the quantum reflex. It is when your automatic reaction to life shifts from a physical contraction to an energetic expansion. This is consciousness recognizing its own face in the mirror of the universe. This is awareness seeing that it is not a victim of the world, but the substance of the world. You are not a solid substance. You are vibrating energy. You are an electromagnetic field organized into a temporary pattern. You are consciousness forming a material appearance while being fundamentally non-material. The moment you realize this, the old script burns up. The old contract is void. Reality stops playing by the old rules because those rules were for the sleeper and you are awake. But you must claim it. You must embody it. You must choose it again and again until the choice becomes your nature. If you are ready to expand your consciousness and step into your next quantum leap, subscribe now, leave a comment below, and share this message with someone ready to awaken. Welcome to energetic awareness. Welcome to the truth. You are energy.